About time the Yankees start acting like the Yankees. And the report from Buster Olney talking about the Yankees would be the team that might be most aggressive going after Shohei Ohtani if he becomes available at the trade deadline, by the Angels looking to trade him. That is exactly what you want to hear if you're a Yankee fan. Now, under the assumption you're not giving up Anthony Volpe, it's nice to have the Yankees back operating like a big league franchise, like the marquee franchise in all of Major League Baseball. We touched on it yesterday a little bit, and earlier in the week I was saying it would be dumb to trade for Ohtani, and there are reasons why I believe that is the case, certainly for the Mets. But the Yankees may be a little different, but if you don't have to give up Volpe, and you're okay with giving up some of the prospects in a fair deal, I mean, who knows? He's going to command a lot, and we'll see what other teams get involved. But at least this is a player that you know is worth the risk, whether it be giving up the players to get him at the deadline, and then also with the possibility of having him here long term. Now, remember, the Yankees loved Ohtani first go around. He didn't want to be on the East Coast and all that stuff. He now seems to be open to winning. He didn't say definitively where he wants to play, just that he wants to win. If the Yankees feel that they can get him at a good price, and by the way, they tried to get him last year, which is what I said initially. That would have been the time to go all in, whether it's before the season, whether it is last offseason or last trade deadline. Go get Ohtani then, because you have him under control, maybe longer to convince him. Then it feels like it's worth giving up the prospects. But at this particular point, they don't have the luxury of getting him where he's under control. He's going to hit free agency regardless. If there is one organization that might be able to convince him over the span of 3 months, it's the Yankees. And why is that the case? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, because they wear the pinstripes. I know they wear the pinstripes with a patch now, but they still wear the pinstripes. And that means something. I don't care where you're from in this world. If you care anything about baseball, you care or know the importance of what it means to be a New York Yankee. Some people don't care about it. Some people hate the Yankees. Some people love it. It means the world to others. But either way, even if you grew up hating the Yankees, you understand the special nature of that organization and what it would mean to put on that jersey. So let's just say, hypothetically, the Yankees do acquire Ohtani. Now you've got him. He didn't have to make the decision. Now you've got him in your uniform. And you have him understanding this passionate fan base. And, by the way, you have him winning here, which the Yankees are going to do. I mean, you can make an argument, let's say we threw out the Giants or the Padres. Obviously, the Mets are a team that comes up, but they're irrelevant in this conversation because they're not winning, nor do they have enough to go get Shohei Ohtani. But whatever other team, Dodgers, look, there's no guarantee that those teams would be able to convince Ohtani, and some of those teams won't even be winning. With the Yankees, they're making the postseason. Like, that's, I hate to say it, but it seems to be their birthright as an organization for the last 30-plus years, right? I mean, tell me when I'm wrong. They missed the postseason 4 times since 1995. Winning, even though it hasn't been the World Series, winning has been the Yankees' thing. They have won more than anybody else. So Ohtani would come here immediately, put on the pinstripes, taste the passion of this city and that fan base, and taste a little bit of winning. At the very least, a little bit of winning. Postseason, for sure, and maybe more. Now, I don't think that the Yankees would have to get to and win a World Series to convince Ohtani to be here. And their hope would be that he falls in love with everything that this city has to offer, and then they get to extend him long term. The Yankees can't get him in free agency unless he wanted to play for less for the pinstripes, because they will be outbid, whether it's by the Mets, whether it's by the Dodgers. And again, who knows how serious the Mets are at this point anyway, and even if they're in the conversation as far as Ohtani's camp goes, it may not matter. If he wants the most money, I don't believe it's going to be the Yankees. But they have a chance to get ahead of the curve potentially and go get a player that their organization has been in love with for years, missed out on him the first time, which then led them to go get Giancarlo Stanton, which was a disaster. And, by the way, that Stanton's going to be a factor here, because if the Yankees do get Ohtani, he's going to be the DH. And that means Stanton's going to have to find his rear end in the outfield one way or another. But this regardless of how it plays out here, whether the Angels actually do put him on the block, whether the Angels are dumb enough to trade him to the Yankees. See, if I'm the Angels, I say, I'll trade him there. I need Volpe back. And if I'm the Yankees, I say, no, thank you. There's no way I could do that. Peraza, Dominguez, other prospects, sure. I'm not giving up Volpe. That's the one guy that's untouchable. And if they can get that deal done, then maybe it's worth it because the Yankees haven't gone all in at the trade deadline in years past. We just talked about it yesterday. Luis Castillo, they missed out on the prize guy and they settled for less. The Yankees have always been settling here. The Yankees that I grew up hating didn't settle for anything but the best. And all of a sudden, these Yankees, no more George, Cashman maybe a little complacent, or the organization as a whole, the analytics, whatever it may be, they seem to settle for less. IKF. Not to pick on him, but we went over the examples yesterday again on the free agent shortstops that were available, and the Yankees went and traded for IKF, who's not, in fact, a shortstop. Took them a little bit longer to learn than everybody else, but so be it. But now, instead of settling for less, settling for option B, the Yankees appear to be, and I checked with some sources on this because I was like, is that true? I thought the Yankees just said they wouldn't go all in. I know the Mets said it with certainty. I didn't think the Yankees were going to take that risk on a rental and give up farm system players that they've been reluctant to give up for other players. But this is different. The Yankees are, in fact, all in this season. And the Yankees tried to get Shohei Ohtani a year ago. So why wouldn't they try now if he becomes available? And think about what that would do for this fan base that right now, even though the Yankees are 7 games over 500, and I've been trying to tell you they're going to be fine regardless of the way that they've been playing going into the break or without Aaron Judge for a little bit. Like, they'll make the playoffs. They always do. The health of Judge is going to be paramount. But if they get Shohei Ohtani, that's also insurance for Aaron Judge. And the excitement that it would bring this fan base that was so accustomed to getting the big stars, that would be invaluable. Plus, you have the chance, when callers are calling talking about, you have the chance to convince them. I don't generally buy that theory, especially when you get 3 months to go to free agency. Like, if you're Ohtani, why would you ever forego that at this point? Put yourself in his shoes. Why sign with one team when I can see what every team has to offer? Whether it's a different location, whether it's more money. But there might just be one team that has an advantage because of their pedigree, because of the history, because of the pinstripes. I think maybe you get a taste, if you're Ohtani, of playing for the Yankees. Maybe that can convince him. And maybe he does want to be here long term. And you know what? If the Yankees do trade for him and it helps them win a World Series, you trade the prospects for that even without him signing long term, even if it is just for a rental. Not that I think that would be the result. And like I said, I think this Yankee team could go out there and compete for a World Series without Shohei Ohtani. I don't think they need him. But maybe for the Yankees, this is worth the risk. Aside from giving up Volpe, is there anybody else that you wouldn't give up to get Ohtani? I know Yankee fans love Dominguez. How many times have we got to see prospects come up here and fail? Same thing with Peraza. I think Peraza is going to be a player. I can live with Gleyber Torres. I'll even live with LeMahieu or Donaldson if I have to, if it means getting Shohei Ohtani. So the move for this organization to be the big, bad New York Yankees, the evil empire. They haven't been the evil empire in a while. They've been the mediocre empire. They've been the, no one hates us. We don't even spend that much money anymore. We haven't been in a World Series since 2009 empire. This type of move brings the Yankees back to being the evil empire. And we've seen it with this regime here, where they haven't spent a ton on the big name free agents except the guys that they really love, like Garrett Cole. That's the guy they go out there and invest big money in. Big years, big money. Ohtani has been the apple of their eye for quite some time. And if he does become available, and if you don't have to give up Volpe to get him, hard to find a negative there with the Yankees going after Shohei. Jack is calling from Bay Ridge. Jack?
Hey, Sal. What's going on? First of all, congratulations on the new time slot, buddy.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it.
Listen, I like what you're saying, and obviously it'd be great to have Ohtani, but this is the thing. I assume it's the house, right? Like I assume that for Ohtani, it's not Dominguez and then a couple other guys.
No, it's going to be Dominguez, Peraza to start. You'd have to imagine.
Yeah, right, and then probably Cabrera too, and then a couple of pitchers, right? It's probably 5 for 1.
I mean, I would think a lot. You're going to have to give up some of those pitchers. Maybe it's the young guys in the bullpen. Maybe it's Clark Schmidt, young starters with potential. Who knows? Maybe Domingo Germán. I have no idea what exactly it will be. But if you have to give up to me, anybody but Volpe. And if I'm the Angels, I say, I want Volpe. That's it. And why would I, if I'm the Angels, think about it. We look at it from the New York perspective. If I'm the Angels, why would I trade him to the Yankees? Like you're trading him to you trade him anywhere but the Yankees. You're asking for it if you trade him to the Yankees. However, if the Yankees have to pay the Yankee tax, the overpay, and you can get Volpe, then you do it. That's their perspective. From a Yankee perspective, as long as I could hold on to Volpe, I would probably give up anybody else. Germán, Schmidt, whatever young arms you need to give up along with Peraza and along with Dominguez. You do it because you have the opportunity, unlike the Mets, unlike others, to maybe convince him and show him how great it is to be a New York Yankee.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they go deep into October because of his presence, and I mean, I don't know. Let me ask you this: though. What kind of needle do you think that Dominguez is a big needle mover? Because I mean, this guy is one of the most highly touted hitting prospects in a while.
I think we overrate. You're talking about as far as the Angels go?
Yeah.
I can't speak to that. I think we highly overrate, especially the Yankees. We overrate Yankee prospects. You've seen it. None of them pan out. I mean, outside of Aaron Judge, who's pan. Now, Volpe looks good, like I said, but, I mean, come on, all these guys over the years. Oh, this guy's going to be great. This guy's going to be great. And they're not. So I'm not sure
that.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Andahar wasn't too bad.
Yeah, come on, Andujar, and thank you for the call, Jack. He was all right. Then he didn't get enough of a run. He got hurt, and then they ended up trading him too late or getting rid of him, whatever. He's with the Pirates still now. You don't even hear from him again. The Yankees, you got to give them credit for that. They overhype their prospects more than anybody else. I don't know how that gets done, if it's Cashman, people in his front office, pipelining it to writers or reporters or radio guys or whatever, but the Yankee prospects get hyped like no other, and they don't deliver. Those are the facts. I'm not knocking the farm system. I'm calling it how it is. Even when we've seen guys come up here and have some success, they end up going downhill rather quickly. Even if it's guys from other organizations with the high hype or the overhype. Clint Frazier, Gleyber Torres. And that was back at a time, it's not like that anymore, where you can get a top prospect for a rental, a reliever no less. Yankees traded Aroldis Chapman and got Gleyber Torres, who was one of the top prospects in all Major League Baseball. It was a steal. And the Cubs ended up winning the World Series, so for them, they feel maybe it's worth it, and Gleyber hasn't really panned out anyway, but at the time, it was, oh my God, they got this game-changing player, and in 2018, 2019, he was on his way to becoming a superstar. What happened? Yankees moved him short. He's, out of shape. He's a little lazy, whatever. Gary Sanchez, he comes up. Takes baseball by storm. What happened? The Kraken cracked. And he was never the same player. Jesus Montero, to go back a little bit. Oh, Clint Frazier. Oh, what they used to call him? He had that lightning, Red Thunder. Had the lightning bat speed. Yeah, great. What happened with him? I don't want to hear about the injuries as an excuse. He was never any good. Bad attitude, whatever it may be. Florial, why isn't he in the majors? Yankees desperately need an outfielder. What's wrong with him? Maybe he's a part that's going to go for Ohtani. Anyway, I don't believe in giving up the farm for a rental when you could just go out there and pay him whatever money he wants in 3 months, unless it's the final piece. And maybe for the Yankees, Ohtani could be the final piece, especially if they don't have to give up Volpe. Anybody else, like I said, will be up for grabs. And you're talking about an organization that hasn't acted like the Yankees in quite some time. They think they are, they're not. They've been getting option B and option C. When I first heard this news, I was a little surprised. Then I was a little angry at the Mets, as usual. But then I thought, you know what? This is a Yankee move. This is what the Yankees should be doing. Go get Ohtani. The Yankees, for years, have figured out a way to not give up the guy like Volpe and still get the guy like Ohtani. Could they work that magic again? Been a while. But they got to do it. Bobby is calling from Long Island. What's up, Bobby?
Hi, Sal. You answered your own question. I mean, come on. I mean, what prospects do the Yankees have to really trade for Ohtani? And Volpe, he's going to have to go. You think the Angels are idiots? I mean, you're acting like
that's another point. That's the other thing that comes into play. The Yankees could go after him all they want. They went after Luis Castillo last year, and they didn't get him. So the Mariners did. So the Yankees have lost out on this before. Years ago, during the dynasty, they wouldn't lose out. So if the Angels are smart, they would hold any team hostage. Are the Yankees going to be willing to go the extra mile? I'm not. If I'm the Angels, I'm not doing a deal on principle. I'm not doing a deal without Anthony Volpe. And if I'm the Yankees, I'm not giving up Volpe.
They have no prospects. Now, you talked about Castillo. What about 2019? Cole, okay? This Cashman guy didn't want to trade Cole for Andujar and Clint Frazier.
That's what I'm saying.
Cole got them to the World Series, and the Yankees probably would have been in the World Series. So, I mean, Cashman hasn't done anything as far as making these trades in his whole tenure, as far as I'm concerned.
He's been reluctant. No, look, he's been reluctant to give up the top prospects.
Because he's infatuated and built his core for. He was an errand boy for Watson and Gene Michael.
Well, whatever. This is not to pick on Brian Cashman. All right, but if they're going to go all in, if the Yankees, and thank you for the call, Bobby, if the Yankees are going to go all in, what does that mean? That's the quote that I got. Yankees are all in this year. Well, what does that mean, all in? To what extent? Like, they wouldn't give up Volpe last year. I highly doubt they're giving up Volpe this year. They're going to go all in to their price, or are they going all in? Now, they may have an advantage, too, with the Angels, because we say, well, why would the Angels trade him to the Yankees? In the American League, they're the big bad Yankees. You're going to help them out? Well, because the Angels certainly don't want to trade him to the Dodgers. Well, then where are the other aggressive teams coming in? Supply and demand. If there aren't other teams that are willing to give up their farm to rent Ohtani, because you already eliminate the majority of teams because they either A, don't have the prospects to get him, or B, can't afford to sign him. So then it becomes an automatic rental. How many teams are looking for an automatic rental? The Rays, to me, would be one, like we mentioned yesterday. And do I think it's realistic? No, I don't. But the Rays would know, hey, we have the prospects to give up. Let's just take our shot here now. Go get him for 3 months, and he'll leave. Like, that has happened before, where teams go all in for a guy for that particular year. For the Yankees, it would not be the case. They're going all in this year, but they also want Ohtani here long term. So it would be a little bit of both. But it depends on the supply and demand. If the Angels have a great deal out there and they say, yeah, we'll trade him to you, Bri. Talking to Brian Cashman here. We'll trade him to you, but we need Volpe back. The Yankees are going to say no, as I would, and then he goes somewhere else. And then what you do is go sign him in the offseason. Do all you can to sign him in the offseason. But the Yankees, I have reservations about them doing that. They may be interested in him. I don't know if they can afford what it's going to cost to get Ohtani, especially if you talk about the Mets being in. Again, if he, like Aaron Judge, chooses less to be here, be a part of the pinstripes, that's a different story. But this is finally, it was the first time in a while I felt today when reading that news like we were talking about the Yankees. Not the option B and C, not the less than Yankees, not the settling Yankees, the Yankees. A player like that becomes available, you go get him. Now, everybody's got their limits. I mean, the Yankees used to have their limits. For me, it would just be Volpe. That's the only guy I'm not giving up. Anybody else you could have. I don't know if Cashman feels the same way. I'm talking about the young pitchers, too. I don't care. Young pitchers in the bullpen, you pick them. Go ahead, take who you want. Young pitchers in the bullpen, starting rotation, minor leagues, Dominguez, Peraza, Florial, you take them. Volpe's the one guy that's off limits. If you can still have a conversation with him, it might just be worth it for the Yankees specifically. Not any other team, for them, because then they get him in the pinstripes. And I get the feeling if you were able to get Ohtani and put him in the pinstripes with the patch, Can we now, do we have to call them the pinstripes or the patch pinstripes? If you put him in the pinstripes with the patch, I have a feeling he's not going to want to leave that.